For this step, we can now enter the homeowner's information. Now that we have the homeowner's information put in, it's going to ask us a series of questions to commission the inverters. On this first page, it's going to ask us what power sources are connected to our system. For this specific system, we're going to have the grid and solar connected. And will now ask us if we can allow the batteries to charge from grid. Again, some jurisdictions require that you do not charge the batteries from the grid and PV only. But for this case, we can charge from the grid, so I'm going to select yes. It is now asking what is the max power the inverter can pull from the grid to charge the batteries. And since this is a parallel system with both the inverters and batteries, each inverter can charge at a max of 8 kilowatts from the grid. And so combined, that is 16 kilowatts. And right now, this slider is actually selected on 16 kilowatts, so I'm going to select next. We'll now ask, is the system going to sell power back to the grid? Or do I have a net metering agreement? And for this case, I do, so I'm going to select yes. We'll now ask, do we want to enable to keep the battery in full mode? And like we discussed before with the one inverter, two battery system, it's important to explain to the homeowner the options that they have when we commission the sanctuary system. On one end of the scale, we can maximize the ROI of your solar array. And on the other end of the scale, you can maximize the security, meaning the batteries are kept at 100% for when the grid goes down. For this case, I'm going to commission the system to maximize the ROI of the system. So I want to consume what my solar produces. So I'm going to select no. I do not want to keep the batteries full. It will now ask, what percent do I want the grid to maintain my batteries at? And the default is 30%, which for this system, I'm going to keep it at the default setting. And that's the end of the commissioning questions. It's going to give us a summary of all the settings that we've made. And just to go over it one more time, the system is going to be connected to the grid and solar. The batteries are going to charge from the grid at a max rate of 16 kilowatts, and that the power can be sold back to the grid. Keep battery full mode is disabled, and I'm going to have the grid reserve my batteries at 30% to, again, maximize the ROI of my solar array. After I've confirmed these settings, I'm going to click the check mark, which again finalizes these settings and saves them. Now that we've saved those settings, it takes us to the page where we can share the product or the sanctuary system that we've just commissioned to the homeowner. We can enter the homeowner's email address, and the homeowner will receive an email from Lion Energy to where they can create an account and be able to have access to view this sanctuary system. For this purpose, I'm not going to enter an email at this time, and I'm going to click Finish, and it sends me a notification saying that I've not entered an email to share with the homeowner, and that's just in case if I forgot to put that in the first place. But I'm actually just going to continue. And this takes us to the final step of the commissioning process, where we will validate the settings of the sanctuary system. I'm going to select Validate Settings, and this process will take anywhere from 10 to 30 seconds. And after the settings have been validated, we will be able to view the product on a separate screen. We're now going to click View Product after we've successfully validated the settings. And we can see here our flow chart, our plant information, and then as well our history graph of the sanctuary system. And that's it. We're done. We've successfully commissioned this system, and now we're going to tidy up some of the wiring and place the face covers on so it's ready for the homeowner.